Michigan running back Donovan Edwards has really never been the guy in the Wolverine backfield, but when he gets his shot, he shines, especially in the biggest moments. Between the game in 22, that same year's conference championship, and last season's Natty, Edwards averaged nearly 10 yards per on just over 50 carries with 5 tutties. Howard now doing something would-be tacklers couldn't in those games, slowing Edwards down just enough for this chat.
Man, it seems like just yesterday we were talking to you on the recruiting show. What's this journey been like for you?
The journey has been amazing. Honestly, I think that everything that I've been through has turned me to a man. I think, all the ups that I've had and the downs that I had, and, now just staying like level-headed and, just understanding that, there's going to be very great times, there's going to be terrible times within your life. And honestly, a lot of that credit goes to Mike Hart for shaping me into who I am today, and Freddie Jackson and Coach Bell in high school. I got a lot of shout-outs, but I think like those three in particular, like in my life, they have like really shown me like the ropes and like giving me tough love and unconditional love at the same time. So, I've had an amazing experience here in Michigan so far.
If I take you out of all of this and you're just in street clothes and a T-shirt, who are you?
I'm a regular guy. I just be vibing, you feel me? Just walking the dog, very much into the good word, into the Bible. And also, I think my biggest thing is I want to be able to impact people, touch the minds and the hearts of others and plant the seed of wisdom and righteousness into their minds. Even though I'm not perfect myself, will never be perfect, but that's my ultimate thing in life, being able to uplift people, and to be able to connect to people, because I'm no different than any other person amongst the world. We're all the same, and that's how I look at it.
You've talked about it, and you mentioned it earlier. You've had
Thanks for asking that question, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. You've had some
That's why I rock with Howard. It's still rolling, you feel me?
I know it's still rolling.
Keep that in there. You keep that in there. Yeah, he the man.
But you've had some struggles.
For sure.
And what's that been like? I mean, you're on the stage. Everyone looks at you. But you've made some mistakes.
Yeah.
And you've grown from them. What's that been like?
The thing for me is like the times of things are going your way or adversity, that defines who you are. And I think that you have two options from it. You can either rise from it, or you could crawl in a hole and just hide away in the dark. You know what I'm saying? But person like me, I always want to shine and like the sun. I want the sun always on me. You feel me? I'm about that life. So, I think that's kind of just the way that I kind of go about my business.
I know one of the things you want to do is you want to give to people who are in need, and you want to do that based around building homes and really affordable housing.
We talking about that?
Yeah, I do my research, big guy.
Dog,
I do my research. I need to know these things about you.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah.
So tell me, where did that come from?
That's just what's in my heart. I think that everybody has a calling. And, my calling is just continuing to do the best that I can every single day, even though, I'm tired, they say it's the meeting rooms, I'm like, dog, or the fourth quarter, dog. I still have to give my maximum effort. So, doing that, the affordable house, or I do, doing a lot of other things, like community work, research for cancer, because my mom died from breast cancer, or paying for teacher school supplies, because I don't think that that's fair that a teacher has to pay their own salary, from their own salary for school supply. I don't think that that's fair. So it's stuff like that. It's just like I've seen it. My pops has done it before. Yeah. So it's things that I do amongst my life, where I'm very passionate about. Real estate, I'm kind of getting into it. It's we got people struggling and people not able to eat or to have or to live, where it's I want to be able to change that. So that's where I just have that in my heart.
Yeah. Let's go on the field a little bit.
Let's do it.
It's been patient. You've been patient, rather, waiting your turn, and now it's right there in front of you. On the field, what have you learned about becoming the number one back, and also tying Tony Alford into how he's taking your game to a new level?
Oh, for sure. I'll say the thing with patience for me is I don't think that God does anything that a person can't handle, right? I may have been arrogant, ignorant. I would have been on the top of my heels. Maybe I would have, maybe I wouldn't. But it's times like right now where, like, I'm humble. Like, I don't care if, like, you could call me a running back. I don't care. I don't look at it that way. I want all of my running backs to be in the role of, like, you know, like whoever's in. Like, we're all gonna get a fair share of the load, and we're gonna, you know, we're gonna win games, and we're gonna do the things that for us, like, you know, that's holding up our standards. So that's what it is for me. Like, I have that mindset. I don't have the mindset of, like, I want the carries. I want this about me. I don't have that mindset anymore. And TA, yeah, man, TA is a detailed machine. I think that he's taken the whole running back room, along with Freddie J, to a whole nother level, you know, being able to identify things, you know, like looking at safeties and knowing fronts, and, you know, like, he's a freak about pass pro, so, you know, like.
Not letting you get away with that.
Nah, it's like we could win the block, but, like, if we don't dominate, like, he's going to crash out. So, yeah.
Take care of.
Yeah. So you gotta be able to do your job. But having TA in the running back room has been a joy, and, you know, I'm very grateful that he's here, because, you know, I've always wanted to play under him, and, you know, for him to be here and to really learn, you know, what kind of man and what kind of coach he is. I wouldn't trade him for the world to have him in the running backs room.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man, taking the time. Good luck, stay healthy, and
Appreciate
big things
you.
for you this year. Bye.
Appreciate you, man. Go Blue. Oh, and shout out to, he need a raise. Hold on, no, put your hand down, man. Howard Griffin need a raise, man. Big Ten Network, y'all got to give him a raise.
That was fantastic. We got to walk back to the corner office.
There we go, huh?
See if Donovan can get you some extra coin. What a great young man. Maybe one of the most, I think, intriguing players coming into this year. And I think Michigan as a whole is fascinating, Howard, because even people that know this sport and know this league are completely split on what they think of Michigan this year. I think there is a contingent that absolutely believes there's not going to be a huge drop-off, even though the roster is somewhat rebuilt. And then there's another contingent that believes this team is way too highly respected, being preseason top 10.
And you think about a team that won a national title. And when do you see a team in the next year it's not talked about that way? And obviously they've lost a lot on both sides of the ball, and including their head coach. But there is a system in place here. And that's one of the things you take away when you spend some time with this team. The system's in place. Some things have changed. Sure, they play music a little more at practice, but what they do and how they go about their business has not changed. We saw them on a day where it really wasn't a physical practice, because Coach Moore says he's got to take them out of the pads so that they're not physical. So they're having to continue to balance this thing. And listen, I think this is still a loaded roster for them. They've done a great job of recruiting the young people that are going to fit best into their program. You look at this offensive line, they're going to be good. Once again, the names are changing, but they are still going to be dominant. And I think Donovan, one of the things I really love about this job is having an opportunity to spend time with people like that.
It was such a great interview, I got to be honest. I'm not trying to get you a raise. He tried that already. But it was just awesome to hear who he is on and off the field.
This is what college athletics is about. It really, in its core. And gone are the days where you can make mistakes and it not be in the public eye. The mistakes that he's made have been in the public eye, and he's been criticized for them. But congratulations not only to him for overcoming it, but for Michigan to stay with him and getting him the help that he needs when he needed it. And it's just not about him. It's about all the student athletes that are out there. And that's just not Michigan. I think all our programs do a tremendous job doing that. But those are the stories we need to always hear about.
And he takes responsibility for it.
Absolutely.
Says, I've learned from it, and I hope other people learn from my experience, because then it'll make the world a better place. Really well done by you and by Donovan Edwards as well. So I don't think anybody would think it's a massive surprise if Michigan is in the mix for the college football playoff. And I think 2-3 months ago, everybody would have said, now Rutgers, we're not going to talk about Rutgers in the college football playoff, are we? And suddenly, I'm sure you've heard this too, there seems to be this growing buzz on the banks about what Greg Schiano's team could be this year. They return so much production. The schedule is certainly favorable. What did you take away after you got a chance to see Rutgers in person?
Saw him in a rainstorm. Caliac Mantis, that came over from Minnesota, really performed well in the rain. He feels much more confident in who he is as a quarterback, and I think as a person. This is a team that's really talented, and they're so much better than they were 2 years ago or even last year. This has been a steady burn, as they say, to get better in the way they are. And now, even when you talk with their coaching staff, they are more comfortable about their team too and feel more confidence in it. But the schedule has something to do with it as well. And if they go out and play the type of football we expect them to do, run the football, be able to stop the run, this is why people think that this team could be in the mix.
And experience. You look at how many years of experience, how many starts these guys have that are coming back. And Greg Schiano has said all along, his best teams during that first stint when he was at Rutgers were the teams that had experience, the teams that had leadership. This team has experience. This team has leadership. And this team does have the kind of schedule where if you look at it and you say, if they stay healthy and play their best ball, why couldn't they be 8-0 or 9-0? And if they are in this league at that point, I don't care who is and who isn't on your schedule, you are going to be in that playoff mix when the first rankings reveal comes along.
And that's really what matters, right? Being able to continue to win each and every week and continue to get better. And that's one of the things they'll have to do. Staying healthy will be a big part of that. You know, they want to run the ball with Monangai, and
they are going to run the ball. You can put 9 guys in the box. They're going to run the ball anyway.
It doesn't matter. It's fun. We're talking to their defensive players, and they just say what a hard time they have trying to even bring him to the ground, so they know what the opponents have to deal with. But again, when we get to this level, it's about being able to stay healthy and being able to stay consistent and take care of the football, and that'll be a big part of what they need to do this year.
You also want a home field advantage, and that is a fan base that I think if Rutgers starts to pile up wins early, then it does become a home field advantage again. And the weather could potentially turn for any type of West Coast or Southern Big Ten team that's going in there to the Banks. I've been there in November quite a few times on the sidelines, and I can tell you, yes, it can be a little bit of a home field advantage. Should be a fascinating story to watch.